Hello and welcome to Breaking Bread with Rivaaj Maharaj, where nothing is off the table. For today's episode, I want to talk about a post by Donald Trump that is going viral at the moment and raising a lot of concern. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, there's a post by Donald Trump that is going viral at the moment. It's stirring up the hornet's nest, and I have to say, I don't know the exact full context in which it was made. However, these are some really, really dangerous comments that are being put forward by the President of the United States. It's it's language that is really, really threatening. But not only threatening, I think that when you speak in this tone as a president, you tend to alienate a section of the people that want to support you simply because it looks like you have a disregard for a certain section of humanity. Now, I'm going to read the post so you have an idea about what I'm talking about. There's an article, so I've got a post here from Priyanka Chaturvedi who just replied, shameful. And she's attached the post the Spectator Index had put out. Breaking Trump says a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. So Donald J. Trump, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in a long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. So let's look at this comment that Donald Trump has put out and have a look. So, the first line, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. Now, while that is threatening and menacing, I think it's a callous regard of usage of the English language. Because if you wanted to say something, you could have said it in a lot more eloquent manner. This is just very crass. It goes to show a deep, unempathetic value system towards a civilization. Now, the fact that he says a whole civilization, for somebody that is going to war with another nation, another sovereign nation, and you're not intending to put boots on the ground, but you're rather intending for the people of that sovereign state to rise up against the tyranny that has been imposed on it. So far, you've got me. I understand what you're trying to do. Now, when you start saying a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again, this is where you've completely lost me, because you've now isolated a section of that society that you were actually hoping is going to rise up against the regime that has been brutally oppressing its people for the last 47 years. Now, these types of remarks don't embolden them to come out and act on your behalf, because you effectively saying in one night you're going to wipe all of them out. They're probably sitting back and thinking, hang on, we're better off with the guys that are killing us slowly rather than this moron that wants to come and kill us all in one go. So it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. No matter how much you want to say it, he should have held back, or he should have looked for a better way to put it. The Iranian regime is going to die tonight. Something like that. You have now gone and alienated, I don't know what percentage of the population. Couple that with now taking Karg Island and you talking about damaging civilian infrastructure. Who's going to rise up and fight with you? You're going to walk into an Iraq-like situation where you'll have people waving flags initially, but when they see you come in and behave, you remember Abu Ghraib? When you come in and start behaving like that, and this is Abu Ghraib, but verbally. And then, people are going to say, hang on, this is what you did then. This is what happened in Vietnam. What are you going to do to us? And then you still expect them to stand with you. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, further, but it probably will, I don't want it to happen, but it probably will. So you've already now settled yourself and resigned yourself to the fact that whatever you're planning to do, you're comfortable with it and it's going to happen. However, now that we have a complete and total regime change where different, smarter and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? So in this part of his post, he's actually saying that there seems to have been a shift within the Iranian regime. Now, with Donald Trump, I've come to expect one thing. What he says is not nearly as important as what he does. A lot of the times, there's a method to his madness. What he says is designed to throw you off so that you always kept on the back burner. You always kept on the hop. What is he going to do? What does he mean? You're trying to analyze. You get bogged down in the details, and the next thing, something hits you out of the blue. And that's what I suspect he's doing here. I mean, he's talking about a total regime change. So we don't know. There's reports coming out that Mojtaba Khamenei is in the city of Qom. He's in a catatonic state. He's basically a vegetable being kept alive on some type of life support, and that the IRGC are running things. Now, we know that as the IRGC, the Basij, and the Theocracy, their leaders get decapitated, we know that there's a problem within the Iranian regime in terms of the IRGC, who are operating on a military level, and the diplomats who want to resolve this through diplomatic means, and there's a break there. So we know that is happening. The Americans can drive that wedge further. However, with statements like this, I don't know how that's possible. But I know that the more they take out leaders in the opposition, the less likely you have somebody strong and powerful in the military going to be able to stand up. But the problem here is that because of the decentralized nature of the way in which this war is being fought by the Iranians against the Gulf Arab nations and the Americans and the Israelis and whoever else is on their side, you have independence, you have actors acting independently, making decisions independently. Whereas previously they were controlled by Qasem Soleimani, they were controlled by Ayatollah Khamenei, Ayatollah Khomeini, the president, things like that. That is all gone. I don't see anybody there with any semblance to that level of authority. Whoever was there has been taken out. And this is where the fear comes in, because these leaders now making decisions on the ground independently will then be it'll then be difficult later on to rein them in, because they've now got a taste of that power. They're now deciding that they know what is best. So who is the next commander to tell them? And then you're going to have this warlord scenario starting to take place, because that region is fraught with warlords. Everybody in that region is, for want of a better word, an alpha male. And everybody in that region needs somebody strong with a boot on them to keep them in control. Otherwise, they're going to be that boot on the rest of the people. And that is why you need a strong man in those regions. So let's go on. His post further says, "We will find out tonight one of the most important moments in a long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran." So after now threatening to annihilate the entire civilization, he is saying to them, God bless the people of Iran, the great people of Iran. It's the great people of Iran that you want to destroy in this tonight. A whole civilization will vanish, never to be brought back again. I don't want it to happen, but it will. It probably will. And then at the end of it, God bless the great people of Iran. You know, the irony of those two statements is lost on me. The ambiguity and absurdity is lost on me. But nevertheless, this is Donald Trump. I always say the only predictable thing about Donald Trump is his unpredictability. However, I'm going to say this again. There is a method to Donald Trump's madness. And a lot of people will tell you he has no idea what he's doing. He's stupid. He's lost. He's senile. He's got dementia. This doctor, I'm telling you, the guy knows exactly what he is doing. He's already thought this thing out 200 steps ahead. He has thought it out 200 steps ahead. And the difference between him and what people are making him out to be is that he is not afraid to escalate this to whatever level it may take in order for him to get a win. Don't forget, the man is a narcissist. He will not go down without a fight. He will not go down without a fight. Look what he did. He came in, he won the first term. He lost the second term. He came in again in the third election for a second term. So this tells you that this man has got a fight in him. He is prepared to do whatever, and he's not afraid. You always say, he taco Trump and this and that. Let me tell you, the man is not afraid of, the controversy surrounding him. He feeds off it. This is what drives and motivates him. So anybody thinking that he's terrified, that of being impeached, and this is why he's not that type of a person. Trust me, Donald Trump can't give two hoots about the administration, the bureaucracy, the military, the judiciary. In his mind, he is the be-all and end-all. He is the United States of America. There is nobody more supreme than him. There is nobody on this planet at present more supreme than him. This is how his mind operates. So anybody that thinks that he's going to be held back for fear of retaliation, the nuclear bomb has already been dropped. Truman made sure of that in 1945. He dropped 2 bombs. So Donald Trump is not about to set precedent, which he'll use to his advantage. But he is somebody that loves controversy and would love to always be the first. So the fact that he was outdone by Truman doesn't make a difference. He will escalate this to the nuclear threat and beyond if he needs to. If he feels that he has to go that route, he will do it. Because his ego is the only thing that needs to be appeased. And this is why the situation you are in is very dangerous. Because you've got somebody who is prepared to go to any length to secure a victory. And you've got the Iranian regime with a bunch of psychopaths leading it, who will go to any length to keep their regime intact because it's their existential threat. And this is where you have this meeting where the two meet in the center, is where that catastrophic explosion can take place. So once again, I find that his remarks are very crass, but at the end of the day, this is Donald Trump. We've come to expect this from him. And, he's no stranger to controversy. This is not the first time it's happened. I think a lot more worse is bound to come during his presidency and after. So we're going to keep a close eye on this, and we'll keep you updated as things progress. I want to thank you for spending time with us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe, as it helps us with the algorithm and it helps our channel to grow. We're trying to get our channel put out there. We're trying to build it up and get it to, a really big channel. And we thank you for your support thus far, and we look forward to your continuing support. So once again, thank you very much, and see you in the next episode.